This year's been a big year. 2019's been a big year for us. We started January of 2017. It's been another great year of assistance from County Council with pay raises for our people. We are now one, if not the most competitive agency in the upstate because of pay. And so we really appreciate Council's support on that, because that was a goal of mine to get this agency. You know, we were very far behind compared to other agencies. Retention is awesome right now. We have hardly any turnover, and and we hardly have any positions open, so which is incredible. So still have a few positions at the detention center that are open, and we still have a few dispatcher positions open. So if you know somebody that's interested, send them our way. We'd love to have them on the team. Since 2017, we've seen several considerable crime stats. Some have dropped away, really far. And so far right now, just in the last 3 years, we've been able to impact it so much. We're down 38% with burglary. So we've cut them over a third. This is going to be a record-breaking year as far as the amount of drugs taken off the street. So 2020, we better work even harder so we can beat those numbers. But 2019 has been a very, very productive year. And that's one thing as we go into 2020. Obviously, another election year. I can't even believe that's here already. But, we just want to show where we're constantly committed to improving and just playing a significant role within our community.
The mental health initiative was one of the things y'all kicked off this year.
That's right.
You've seen success on that?
We have seen a lot of success. So, we have you get your hardened criminals that come in, and they just, they're going to be a burden to society, and they're going to cheat and steal and rob and everything else that they can do. And then you have folks that come in, some insignificant charge, lesser charge. A lot of times, it could be mental health related, to be honest. So we have a plan in place now where we're getting assistance from, South Carolina Mental Health, where we have a counselor that's actually at our detention center facility that's doing evaluations as they come in. So it's helped us identify those folks that needs to move forward with some mental health treatment, counseling, medication maybe. And so, we're hoping that we get those people in their right state of mind so that they do not return and hopefully reduce some recidivism. And I think we've seen some of that already. I think some people are able to get out and receive treatment, and sure, they're returning because they're repeat customers, but we haven't seen some others. So we're hoping that that's going to be, hopefully that's going to continue to snowball for the good, and we'll see more promising results as a result of that initiative and cooperation from mental health. Our patrol fleet was in really bad shape. It's the best it's ever been. Consistently getting newer vehicles on the road, more safer vehicles on the road. We had expired body armor issues coming in. We don't have anybody with any expired body armor now, so that's a huge plus, obviously, because officer safety is bar none the most important thing to us. We're getting our first round of body cameras probably within a month or so. I think that's going to help produce even more accountability, at least to the public. I think our folks do a fantastic job, but from having been a formal internal affairs investigator, I can tell you, when I did that role, having access to body camera footage would certainly have helped. Probably 95% of the time, help clear the officer of any accusation. So this is going to be something that's going to be it's going to protect our deputies. It's also going to help protect the public. And like I said, it gives us, it makes us more of a stakeholder when it comes to accountability within our community. So we're extremely excited about that.
You've done an internal study on what you need for new jail, and now council's approved funds for an external study.
That's right.
So a new jail is coming.
Yes.
It's just figuring out what we're going to do and how quick we can get it started. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's been a huge hurdle for this county for a long time, and we literally have people that are assessing this situation, whether it's the State Department of Corrections or the Federal Department of Corrections, and they're waiting to see what we do and if we do something, because I think we're at the stage now where if we don't, as a community and a county, then probably somebody else is going to do it for us. Max capacity of this jail is about 250, but operational, is, I think, around 208 is actually what a operational status is. And what that means at the jail is if you're operating with 208 inmates, you have the ability to move them around as needed. Separate the more violent offenders from the less violent offenders, and right now we can't do that. It's a very volatile situation at the jail. If you think about it, you may have some kid last night that did something stupid, and maybe it was a DUI incident or something, and basically you have to stuff him in a cell with a guy that's awaiting trial because he's been accused of killing a couple people or something. And so and we have those in there. We have people that have that are in there and been in there for 18 months to almost 2 years. This is a detention facility, is a housing facility for folks that have been accused of committing crimes. I know a lot of people have said, they need to be on work farms and tent farms, chain gangs, and I love those ideas, trust me, but you also have to have convicted people to put in those environments. 90% of the folks in this jail right now are detainees, which means they've been arrested, but they have not been charged. They have not been convicted. And so therefore, I don't have the ability to put someone on a chain gang or on a tent farm or anything else until they have been convicted by the court. So, technically, they're innocent until proven guilty, although I have my strong feelings about some of them. So, but that's my job. But at this point, it's not only a dangerous situation for the inmates, it's a dangerous situation for my deputies that are down there having to work inside this facility. Sometimes 10, 15 people stuffed in a cell meant for 4, or you may have 40 in a cell meant for 15. And the problem with that is it's not safe. You have inmates that are frustrated. You have fights that break out as a result. No human being wants to be in those conditions. And so what it does is it produces a very dangerous environment for our deputies who have to control those environments. And it's almost impossible sometimes to control those environments when they reach those extreme overcrowding situations. Basically, we're always overcrowded because our folks are doing such a good job out there on the street, and they're making their arrest and doing everything they're supposed to do. The jail just doesn't service the Anderson County Sheriff's Office. We have inmates that come from Anderson City, Belton City, Williamson City, Pendleton City Police Department, Honeypath City Police Department, Highway Patrol, SLED, any arrest that at Department of Natural Resources. If a game warden locks somebody up in Anderson County, guess what? They're coming to our jail. That's where they have to go. And so, it serves all the law enforcement entities within this county.
And a new jail will take care of all of it.
A new jail will essentially, and here's what we need. Let me describe this too, because I know how people feel. I'm a taxpayer. I'm a very conservative taxpayer. I don't like to pay more taxes. Don't even want to pay more taxes if I feel like there's a lot of taxing enough as it is. We've certainly got our money's worth out of the facility we're using now. We've had it since 1956. It's more than paid for itself if you want to look at it that way. It was an investment well made. So what we want to do next is we want to make a facility that's going to last us another 70 years, just like this one has. I promise you, our county council is extremely forward thinking about this project. I'm excited to work with them because I believe I'm a forward thinker too. So we have an opportunity to do this right, so our children and grandchildren aren't frustrated with us 10, 20 years from now when they're saying, what in the world were they thinking? So, we want to build something simple. We want concrete bars and mortar. That's what we need. We need a facility. It's not a bed and breakfast. Don't want it to be. Doesn't need to be a place of comfort, and it's not going to be. We simply need to be able to house detainees without them being able to kill each other over frustration or kill my deputies that are forced to be in that environment. And so I'm extremely excited about this feasibility study. As long as it's done right, and I believe that it is, it's going to show us a lot. It's going to give us a lot of data on where this county is likely going to be 20, 30, 40, even 50 years from now. And it's going to be able to help us design and create a facility that certainly could be added on. Just like our facility now, you can't add on to it anymore. There's just no way. It's crumbling, it's falling apart. But if we build this smart, we'll be able to increase another bed, like a bed turning into a bunk bed, and maybe even to a possible triple bunk bed down the road. Pod style environments where you have a minimal number of employees can operate and control by access control points, maximum number of detainees, and also programs. I want to see, we brought a GED program into the jail. A lot of folks don't know that. We've graduated, I think, 6 folks so far with their GEDs, and they're extremely proud. If I'm not mistaken, almost all of them are pursuing further education now, which is awesome.
You have a partnership with Tech too, right? For people who want to do that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, in Anderson, School District 5, which
Right.
are providing the instructors to get their GEDs, and then also from there, further education with Tri-County Tech has been a partner on that too. We received some grants to expand our forensics capability, which includes funding for another chemist for the forensics drug lab. But also we've been able to get some really, really advanced equipment to expand our crime scene forensics capabilities too. Our Victims Advocate program has also expanded this year. We've received some funding and also some assistance from County Council, but we're very excited about. We had 2 victims advocates for the whole county of Anderson County, and we've had that for 30 years. 2 victims advocates. Not only do they serve victims that we come in contact with from the sheriff's office, they also service the municipal jurisdictions as well. So these small towns like Williamston and Honeypath and some of these other small towns, they're also their victims advocates as well. So we've gone from 2 now to 5 this year. So that is huge. So that provides a lot more advocacy for our victims. Another big accomplishment we had this year is the reaccreditation process. That's something where when you want to be an accredited agency, obviously it's hard to get there. It's also a tough process to maintain to continue to be accredited. We had assessors here recently, and they went over everything we do with a fine-tooth comb, and we have received our reaccreditation. Very excited about that. We had some folks that worked very hard on that. We've reduced the aviation division. That was something that I looked at several years ago, and I felt like it was a money pit. And so we've relieved ourselves of one of our helicopters. We still have 1 helicopter, and that's fully functional, and so it's equipped with the FLIR infrared system. But we wanted to get into drones, and not the kind of drones where people have to worry about Big Brother watching them, because I'm not about that either. But what we do want to use drones for is those opportunities. Instead of having to fly the helicopter and use a lot of money on fuel to get the helicopter from point A to point Z, we can use the drones to put for search and rescue. People probably don't realize this, but we are constantly being deployed because a toddler has wandered off, or maybe even a dementia patient has wandered off somewhere.
They're much more effective for search and rescue than helicopters.
They are way more because they're also equipped with FLIR. So literally, we're going to be able to detect body heat with the drones. They can hover, and at the expense of charging a battery. And not only that, we can also fly them in the rain. So that's and that's not something we can do with helicopters. So it's going to give us capabilities to basically broaden our abilities with search and rescue. Because certainly those folks that are in those situations, we need to get them help as quickly as possible, especially this time of year, as cold as it gets, especially at night. But also, we had a fugitive situation with the Marshals where they had an escapee. The U.S. Marshals had an escapee, and I think that was about 18 months ago or so. And we could have certainly used a drone then because it was rainy, wet conditions. A lot of hiding in swamps and stuff like that. And our guys spent three long days and nights trying to search for that guy before we finally apprehend him. And it would have been nice to have been able to deploy a drone quickly and possibly spot him within the first 24 hours. So It's going to give us a lot of capabilities like that and save taxpayers a ton of money in fuel. One thing that's coming for the next year is probably weapons. A lot of our weapons have some age on them, and of course, we shoot them a lot in practice and training. They have components that wear out just like any other tool does, and so we're going to have to look at upgrading our weapons. Most of them are at least a decade old, if not older. Expanded emergency services just by a little bit right now. But our director is doing a great job. He has an assistant director. We also have the assistant director that's over dispatch. She's doing a great job. We've had a lot of interaction with our emergency services unit and the community, especially with some of our corporate environments here in Anderson County. Specifically, we worked with one of the large local manufacturers on a big drill, and we did a big emergency drill with them and did a lot of planning and practice and aided in the big drill for them this past year. We want to see more of that, especially as we have all these manufacturers and companies that are moving into Anderson. We want to partner with them. Not only do we want to be familiar with the facility in case there's an emergency, we want them to know how to respond themselves in the event of an emergency. So we provide free training. We want to be good stewards of what we've been given, and we want to make sure our folks within our community are fully prepared. The Criminal Justice Coordinating Council is a council made up of entities that are stakeholders within Anderson County that are stakeholders in the criminal justice community. It's not just law enforcement, it's people that are within the judicial process, the solicitor's office, judges, clerk of court's office, maybe family court's office. Then you have Department of Juvenile Justice, DSS, mental health, pardon, probation, and parole. So it's helped us being able to identify problems. It's helped us to initiate a few programs. We're been able to collect some data to do some studies and do some research. Casey Collins, who heads that or chairs that group, she is doing a wonderful job of being able to pull us all together, discuss the issues. There's certainly we identify bad issues. We also identify the good stuff too, what's working in Anderson County. But it's helped us look at stuff that's just not working at all. 2019 approval for body cameras, the feasibility study for the jail. I think 2020 is going to be the year that we're going to see some of these things. We're going to see the results of a lot of these things. We're going to see what the feasibility study tells us about the detention center. The implementation now of body cameras. We'll see body cameras on our troops here very soon, and we'll have a lot of things to look forward to in 2020 as far as I think some more programs and community involvement. And we try to outdo ourselves every year.